You gotta tear me apart, Lisa!
My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Hey, buddy, you gonna eat that sausage?
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Tell me something, my friend.
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the role? Ladies and gentlemen!
Your complete attention, if you please.
The Epic Film Guys Podcast. morning, everyone. Welcome. Another exciting episode. Welcome, Dan. Another exciting episode of Inside the Editor's Studio with the Epic Film Guys podcast. I am Nick. Hi. And I figured since this one, now if you watched last week's for episode 152, that was kind of like the mother edit. Like that one was crazy. This one won't be anywhere near that difficult. This is instead a very simple edit. This will be a very, very simple show to put together. I should actually probably be able to finish it sometime later today, just because it's that it's going to be that brisk. But it pops up periodically over on Twitter, and I figured I would take a little bit of time to talk about double ending, and I figured I would take a little bit of time to kind of explain the process that we use on the Epic Film Guys. We've used this process for over 3 years now in terms of synchronizing tracks and, getting that audio footprint in there for double ending. So we're going to do that, and we're going to edit segment 1 of the show today. And you can see this is not the program that I used last week. Last week I used Premiere because I wanted to have those individual tracks split out so I could edit them separately. This, I don't necessarily need that. I've got Goldwave opened here, and I've got my track is here. Justin's track is on the top here. Okay. So double ending, number one, when you podcast, double ending is by far the best quality. People will tell you, no, this call recorder's good. No, it's not. It's a call recorder. If you get client-side audio recorded offline that doesn't rely on bandwidth, that doesn't rely on anything, 100% going to be better quality than anything else that you can possibly produce. No call recorder is ever going to be able to get that. You might get some really good quality call recorders and stuff like that, but you're still subject to bandwidth, right? Yeah, if you want to know what not double ending does to audio, listen to the Fred the Movie episode that we just released on the live stream for The Cure. That we did with Netflix and Swill back in May during the live stream. And yeah, there's just audible gaps. Yeah. Audible gaps. I was picking up what you were putting down, Dan. But yeah, I mean, it's listen to that episode, because unfortunately what happens is it ends up dropping audio a little bit. You're subject to bandwidth constraints, things like that. If somebody on one end has internet issues, boom, you're missing a part of audio. You're having words clip out. When you get client-side audio like this, you're getting it perfect. Okay. Now, I've already run my post-production processes. I think I'll talk about those in a different video. I don't necessarily want to talk about them in this video, but I've already run my post-production processes, which means I ran a noise reduction filter based on a sound footprint from the track. And I also ran these through Levelator. I like to run my tracks through Levelator before I merge them, because I want to I don't know why, I just do. Because I want each individual track to be at its peak output all the way through. So essentially, when you're double ending, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is everybody starts recording client side. Everybody starts recording on their end. I use Audacity to record. Doesn't really matter what you use to record, but you start recording. Sorry for the mic adjustment noises there. You start recording, and then I'm the host of the show. I'm going to be doing the edit. So I want a footprint on my track of everybody else's sound. So that way I have a footprint to synchronize it to once we get to that point. So I will start recording, everybody else will start recording, and then I will have everybody else sound off with sound checks, and I will hold my headphones, and that's going to reverberate because I can hear myself in my own headphones. You'll be able to hear it too. I will hold my headphones up to the microphone while they sound off their sound checks. What that does is it records their voice on my audio track. So it creates a footprint. And you can hear that when we just pull up my audio track here. We'll just ignore Justin's for a moment. And you can hear Justin's footprint from when I held it up.
Get recording.
Or you'll get whooping. All right, now give me that sound check.
112, 1112. Checking out one.
So you can hear there, that's Justin's sound check. And I've got a footprint of that on my track. So,
All right, now give me that sound check.
112,
all right, so
1112.
let's get that isolated here.
112, 11.
Perfect. So there that is. And let's pull up Justin's track and let's find the same thing.
1 to 2 to 1 2 3. 112 1112. Checking a 1 and a 2 and a 3.
All right, so here it is. We'll just grab it right about here. Both of these tracks, again, they've already been passed through Levelator, so I know they're already the same volume. I don't have to worry about equalizing them. So now, once again.
112, 1112.
Okay, so now we're going to do... And you won't be able to see the menus, but what I'm doing is I'm going to a mix command. And yeah, so you can't... I know you can't see it in the middle of the screen here, but I have a little mix window up here. I should switch this to like window capture so that way you can see the different menus I have to use. But anyway...
112 1112. Checking a 1 and...
So they're not exactly synchronized there, so we want to keep working on it.
112 112 112 112 1112 1112 1112 1112. Checking a 1 and a 2 and a 3. 112 1112. Checking a 1 and a 2 and a 3.
When you're synchronizing checks, what you want is you're still going to get a little bit of echoiness just because of the way that you record the footprint. But what you want is you want them to overlap pretty tightly. And so this is about 10.25 into my track, and just listen to that.
112 1112. Checking a 1 and a 2 and...
And what you can also do is just kind of dip the volume out a little bit on the track that you're mixing in.
112, 1112.
And
Checking
then
a
keep
1
raising
and
it
a
up
2
as
and
you
a
hit
3.
play over and over.
112, 1112.
Checking a 1
112, 1112.
checking a
112, 1112. 112, 1112. 112, 1112.
And that's
checking a
pretty much
1
perfect
and
there.
a...
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit that merge button. I wonder if my Prime sub is free yet. It's now officially been a month today that my Prime sub has not worked. Let me see. I should actually, I'll check it really quick here. Let's gift a sub to myself. What? Man, I wish I just had a bunch of money. I would just do that. Good for you. I am going to be streaming later today as well, Daniel. Let's pull up Vis here.
I wanted to watch it, bro. I don't know if you got a clip from the channel of it.
Oh, no, because I'm already gifted to, I got a gifted sub to Vis. Hang on, let's see. Oh, my Twitch Prime is free. Bill, live stream. Bill, go live right now. No, don't go live right now. I'm busy. No, after I'm done. And see, that was a good distraction. Unfortunately, this is the 2005 edition of Goldwave that I use. So unfortunately, this is taking a little bit of time to complete this track merge. Got about 1 minute and 45 left. It usually doesn't take that long. It'll usually just kind of finish up arbitrarily. But meantime, Bill, you can have it next time you stream, bruh. Justin may or may not be up here tonight. I'm not sure. I know they're leaving to drive up here today. Well, he's going on vacation. They're going on their vacation, so he'll be on vacation for 2 weeks. But nope, no band. He's just going on vacation. Oh, Bill, you'll be waiting for those for fucking a month, dude. The good thing is, Dan, I don't think I have any other audio of you to play. Oh, no, that's not true. Nope, we still have the, what you call it? What was the other segment we did? Yes, the Tarantino retrospective. No, but what was the other Netflix and Swill segment? Yep, dick pics too, yep. So there's still plenty of audio left of yours, but I do not have either one of those pulled for editing and uploading. So you won't have to worry about those just yet. All right, so 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And there we go. So now, this is our combined tracks. Oh, for the main show, no, the Sauce said he wants to be on, so the Sauce will be on. The Mission Impossible Fallout will be what we're covering. And I think I'll find at least one more guest host. I'm going to try to reach out maybe to somebody else in like the film community. Damn! Oh, my. What did I just get? I heard that and I don't know what it was. Cog Whistle. Thank you very much for the follow. I'm sorry I missed that alert. It jumped all over the place. I was like jumping all over the place like, So, from here, I take my tracks down about 30% from where Levelator spits them out. So I'm going to drop that down now. And boop. And now you'll see here, there's this giant gap here. This is where I play the intro of the show off of the soundboard when we actually live record the show. I cut this out because I don't want Levelator to go in there and hit it because I don't want it to A, affect the other audio, and B, I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to replace it with the crisp studio version anyway. This, before the clearing, this is all our patron-only section back here. So we're going to actually cut this whole thing right out of here. And I'm going to paste this by itself in a new window. Yes, thank you very much, Cog Whistle, for the follow. Really, really appreciate that. Road to 100 followers. Now 8 away. 8 away. And we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to save this. This is our patron-only segment. And that is saved, and boom. Now we'll close it out, because that one's gone. And now we can close out Justin's audio track, because now that they're merged together, we don't need that. And we're going to save this as combined audio. Combined audio part 1, I should say. I get to hear that. Bill doesn't. Bill could totally hear it if he wanted to, but no. All right. So basically, if anybody has any questions about double ending or anything, if you're watching this live, let me know in the chat right now. If you have them after the fact, of course, just drop them, of course, in the comments, either on Twitch or on YouTube. Or, hey, head over to Facebook, facebook.com/group/epicfilmguys. Links down below. At least it is on YouTube. And, you can check it out. So let's go ahead and we're going to get into the actual content edit for the show now. This is about 38 minutes. This will not be this long. I know there's a couple segments in here that have to get pulled. And as well, I have to pull the What Are You Drinking segment so I can reserve the audio and edit the audio together for the What Are You Drinking segment that's got to go on YouTube. I also got to put up last week's as well. But let's go ahead and see what we got.
Get recording, or you'll get whooping. All right, now give me that sound check.
Thumbs up their asses. Thumbs up their asses.
I love it, son. This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. I love it.
We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Epic.
Trim off the stuff at the top. Okay, people, when you do the count in, Yes. Always do the silent one. Yes. Good call, Dan. Listen, this is about editing, not about recording. But that is a very good point, Dan. Yes. Oh, Vis got another chicken dinner. God, Nick. Yeah, I know. Yep. Leave that silent one in there. Leave that clean break. And then you get...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Epic Film Guys podcast. I'm Nick, and I'm sober.
I'm Justin, and I'm pretty sober. I've only had one beer so far, pre-gaming for the show and our patron-only segment, but I'm not drunk, if that's what you mean, Nick. Is that what you were trying to say, is that you weren't drunk yet?
I am not drunk, but welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, here in the midst of San Diego Comic-Con. Justin, holy shit, do we have a lot of stuff to talk about in the show tonight.
Dude, a fucking giant bomb just got dropped on us.
Ooh, so many giant bombs got dropped on us. We've got 5 trailers to talk to you guys about over in Epic Previews. That's actually going to be the bulk of the show. Segment 2, I had the chance to see more movies than Justin. Again, I love you, AMC Stubbs A-List. Even though I now get to go to the movies to see less quality movies. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Justin also has a brief review for us because he got to see a movie that I have not, because it didn't open in my market yet.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to mention it.
Yeah, shocking that a movie didn't open in my market.
I'm going to spoil it for you. I'm going to mention it briefly, but I'm not going to spoil the movie for you because you need to see it for yourself.
It's one of my most anticipated of the summer still, so I'm really, really mad that I have not seen it. But Justin, once again, he wasn't here last week. He skipped out. He was like, fuck you, I'm not doing the show. You're a piece of shit. He called me a motherfucker like 17 times. I cried a lot.
I was only...
I just stopped crying finally yesterday. It's really hurt.
17 times. I cried a lot.
I was only calling you that after I knew what you talked about, after I told you I wasn't going to come on the show. I didn't come on because
I waited
to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. I went and saw it at a Dark Knight movie party at Alamo Drafthouse.
I made sure to wait until Justin wasn't going to be on the show to talk about Batman for like an hour and 40
Batman?
minutes.
How could you do that to me? How could you do that to me?
I already know who your top Batman is, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I take every advantage, every opportunity I can to talk about who my favorite Batman is.
How many times do you think you've mentioned that Michael Keaton's your favorite Batman of all time on this show?
Not 153 fucking
episodes.
Enough, Nick. Not fucking enough, okay?
That is
Come
very,
on,
very
man.
true.
Come on.
That is very, very true. So once again, a huge, huge shout out and thank you to John, Dan, and Miles for filling in for Justin last week. And yeah, hijinks ensued. It was a really, really great time. And Dan and I got to talk about Chinese Die Hard, which someone yelled at me over a great time. And Dan and I got to talk about Chinese.
No, I'm actually going to cut this segment because I know I brought up Skyscraper because we did the Skyscraper review last week, myself and Dan did. And there's not really any need to revisit it. I just threw it in here for whatever reason. Just kind of ruin the conversation.
Yeah, hijinks ensued. It was a really, really great time. And Dan and I got to talk about Chinese Die Hard, which someone yelled at me over.
See what I can do.
I'm saying, they're like, isn't it Hong Kong Die Hard? And I mean, technically fine, but I mean,
Ever.
Rock
Nick,
Hard. You got something wrong.
Rock Hard. I've taken to calling it since then because it is essentially Die Hard with The Rock, and it's a giant piece of shit. Nobody should ever see it.
Yeah, but how was Neve Campbell though? Was she at least digestible? Was she fine?
She was barely in it. Barely. Very barely.
Her first big movie in over 10 years.
She did get a chance to be badass like one time, and it was cool.
That's cool. That's good enough, man.
That was good enough, I guess, for her. But she was cool. She was cool. And still, looking pretty damn good for a woman who's got to be in her late 40s at this point.
Oh, she's not in her late. She's early 40s, bro.
Is she?
When I met her a few years ago, she was fucking stunning. But my wife's in the other room, so I don't want to say that for.
She still got it. I'll say that. I could definitely understand why a one-legged Rock would want to, stick his smaller third leg. I guess I don't know which leg is shorter, his second or his third, but yeah. Anyway.
We're going in the wrong place right now.
Always with the dick talk.
It's already starting, man. Can't do it. Can't do this anymore.
We've got news to talk about also from Comic-Con. We've got Dan and I got to talk about Chinese Die Hard, which someone yelled at me over the website. Chinese Die Hard, which someone yelled at me over the website. They were like, "Isn't it Hong Kong Die Hard?" And I mean, technically fine, but I mean, if you invade Hong Kong, like the Chinese army is still the army that's going to show up to fight you, and they're on the Asian continent, like right there with whatever. Rock
Nick,
hard.
You got something wrong. You got something wrong.
Rock hard. I've taken to calling it since then because it is essentially Die Hard with The Rock, and it's a giant piece of shit. Nobody should ever see it.
Yeah, but how is Nev Campbell though? Was she at least digestible?
Was
she fine?
She was barely in it. Barely. Very barely.
Her first big movie in over 10 years.
She did get a chance to be badass like one time. It was a really, really great time. And Dan and I got to talk about Chinese Die Hard, which someone yelled at me over the website. They were like,
Campbell though, was she at least
digestible? She was barely in it. Barely. Very barely. Her first big movie in over 10 years. She did get a chance to be badass like one.
I should mention that this is typically how I edit the Epic Film Guys podcast. I edit at 2x speed when I do the normal show. When it's just me editing me and Justin, I'm so used to just hearing me and Justin, and I'm just so used to our cadence, our back and forth, the way that we just talk to each other, that I could just go in here at 2x speed and just burn through stuff. Now, I have to pay more attention, which I sometimes don't do, but I'm kind of forced to now because I'm like trying to talk to you guys and do the edit while I'm here. But on with the show.
Time, and it was cool. That's cool. That's good enough, man. That was good enough, I guess, for her. But I mean, she was cool. She was cool. And still, looking pretty damn good for a woman who's got to be in her late 40s at this point. Oh, she's not in her late. She's early 40s, bro.
calling it since then because it is essentially Die Hard with The Rock. Rock
Nick,
hard.
You got something wrong. You got something wrong.
Rock hard. I've taken to calling it since then because it is essentially Die Hard.
Right
Always
now
with the dick talk.
It's already starting, man.
God
Can't do it. Can't
damn
do
it.
this anymore.
We've got news to talk about also from Comic-Con. We've got so much stuff. But first, I have to ask, because about also from Comic-Con, we've got so much con. We've got so much stuff. But first, I have to ask, because he wasn't on the show last week, Justin, we've got so much stuff. But first,
so that's where we're going to cut that. So we got a good hour, good minute and a half long outtake there that we'll slap up there by itself. I'll probably save that because it's got the funny. We got so. I'll save that as its own outtake for this episode, and I'll keep it, for later, for a rainy day, for who knows when. I have an outtake in here that is exactly 100 episodes old this week. Who wants to hear what it is? You guys want to hear what it is? Let's find out what it is. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But we won't worry about that, Justin. Instead, we're going to be looking ahead to next week when... What are we doing next week anyway?
I don't know. Well, we're going to be looking forward to next week, ladies and gentlemen, because right now we are on the 5th of July. Now, the next big movie that hits cinemas next week is Paul Feig's Ghostbusters reboot, which you all know, if you listen to the podcast, that we have been avid defenders of this film. We are very much hoping to see a quality film hit theaters. So next week, not that we're recording about it next week, but next week will be the week that
there should be advanced reviews by the time we record next week's episode.
We're hoping to discuss something about it.
And you know what we can discuss, quickly. I don't want to take up too much time on it, but we can discuss that absolute diarrhea pile of a song that they did, that Fall Out Boy did with Missy Elliott.
We're not even going to talk about that. No, please don't.
Jesus
Please
God.
Please don't.
Imagine watching Independence Day. Imagine if you were forced to watch Independence Day for 3 hours straight and eat nothing but stale movie theater popcorn and really warm Coke for 3 days straight, and then the mess you would leave in the toilet after that. That's what that song is. It is horrifyingly bad. It's like ear cancer.
It is ear cancer.
Terrible.
I'd rather take a cup full of razor blades and swallow them and literally live with the fact that I've done that and be okay with that than listen to that song again. But you know what, Nick? That's enough of that, because you know what? We are the Epic Film Guys, and it is the end of the show.
Is it?
So, Nick,
is it? Do you sure you don't want me to play that song 5 times before we close out the show?
No, please, no. I need some sleep.
Yeah, that was a... okay. So I know what that was. All right, so now we've cut the clip out, so now let's see what we got. audio wise.
Dan and Miles for filling in for Justin last week. And yeah, hijinks ensued. It was a really, really great time. And we've got so much stuff. But first, I have to ask, because he wasn't on the show last week, Justin, how was the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight on the big screen? Really great time. And we've got so much stuff.
So
But
I gotta
first,
cut that
I
out of there
have to.
because that doesn't flow like conversationally. Like when I cut that out of there, it just doesn't make sense. Listen to it.
Hijinks ensued. It was a really, really great time. And we've got so much stuff. But first, I have to ask.
We've got so much stuff. Like, and we've got so much stuff. It just doesn't fit. So now I've got to cut that out of there and make it. I hate you, Bill. I hope you die.
We've got so much stuff. But first, I have to ask, because he wasn't on the show last week, Justin. But first, I have to ask, because he wasn't on. I have to ask, because he wasn't on the show last week, Justin.
And this we won't save. We'll just delete this. So now we go basically right from the opening of the show, thanking the guests from last week, and now we'll continue right along to Justin telling us about seeing The Dark Knight at the Dark Knight movie party last week.
Yeah, hijinks ensued. It was a really, really great time. And I have to ask, because he wasn't on the show last week, Justin, how was the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight on the big screen?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit disappointed. A lot.
See, now, this is the bane of my existence. Whenever I edit Justin, whether he watches this or not, you know you do this to me all the time. 153 goddamn episodes. I know what Justin's ums look like by waveform. That's why I was kind of lingering on this one as it played through. Justin likes to punctuate some of his sentences with ums, or he likes to pause. Now, when it comes to cutting ums, I will cut ums that I can cut cleanly. This one I can cut cleanly because look you get right here, you're right on the 0 line. Again, you want to be on the 0 line when you're doing editing. And we can go somewhere here in the middle of the silence, doesn't really matter where. And we're just gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna paste that in its own file for now. I might do something with those later. So now,
To be honest with you, I'm a little bit disappointed. A lot of reasons, but I'm gonna spout them off as fast as I can. Number one is that disappointed. A lot of reasons, but I'm gonna spout them off as fast as I can. Number one, disappointed. A lot of reasons, but I'm gonna spout them off as fast as I can. Number one is that the day after I went and saw it on the big screen, Christopher Nolan announced that he's going to do a 70mm re-release of the film later this year, which I would have opted to do instead. Number two, what I was hoping.
so once again, can I cut it cleanly? Yes. So again, I only cut ums if I can cut them cleanly. Sometimes he'll bury them in a sentence somewhere where I can't get them out clean. And then sometimes, like, if it's just a one-off kind of thing, I'll just cut it out. But most of the time when he does it, he kind of goes on a string of them, like where there's 10 of them in a 30-second span. And you can't leave all that in there. It just basically is a massive speed bump in the conversation. Are you listening to that Ghostbusters song, Bill? That Ghostbusters song was atrocious, dude.
Film later this year, which I would have opted to do instead. Number two,
is it like swallowing a cup full of razor blades?
Release of the film later this year, which I would have opted to do instead. Number two, what I was hoping for was it was going to be the brand new Ultra 4K HD restoration that Christopher Nolan oversaw with HDR, because Theater A at Alamo Drafthouse DC area has HDR, and when I saw Speed Racer there a few months ago when they for the first time showcased the HDR ago when they for the first time showcased the HDR, it was
we don't really need to take and stick in here when they showcased and then for the first time. It doesn't make sense to, because it's kind of redundant to me.
For the first time showcased the HDR, it was a stunning sight to see. And I've already
we're gonna pop that up there by itself, but I want just the from this. I don't want the other part, so we're gonna trim that out. And there we go. So we've got 3 ums so far. So here, there we go. Let's listen now.
Speed Racer there a few months ago when they showcased the HDR. It was a stunning.
Much cleaner now. So now it's when they showcase the HDR, which is all you really need to say.
There a few months ago when they showcased the HDR, it was a stunning sight to see. And I've already watched the Ultra 4K restoration that Nolan did of The Dark Knight. It looks very good. So I was thinking I was going to see that version. Instead, the version that Warner Brothers sent was a 10-year-old 4K DCP that Christopher Nolan oversaw, and it had like scratches and debris on it. Still a fun time. I still really enjoyed watching it on the big screen. You know, got to quote it. Movie parties are really fun there, but overall,
see, now this is what I was talking about before, where he will sometimes make it difficult for me to try to get these out of here, because listen to this.
Quote it. Movie parties are really fun there, but overall, 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 I'm kind of upset I didn't show up on the show, but it was still
to get this one out of here. But listen to what happens when I do that. Listen to what happens when I cut this out of here. And we're not gonna. I'm actually not gonna keep this, so we're just gonna test this out. But just listen to what this sounds like now.
Got to quote it. Movie parties are really fun there.
It seems abrupt. It seems abrupt at the beginning of the sentence, so that one stays in, because above all else, I think the ultimate job of an editor is to make sure that it sounds clean and to make sure that it sounds conversational. You don't want to be cutting, like if I cut that out, then that sentence all of a sudden just immediately starts. Like it just feels like there's something missing on the beginning of it. And maybe that's me being a little bit of a nitpicky editor. Will a listener necessarily notice that? Probably not. But to me, I can notice it. And if I can notice it, I want to remove it because I want a clean flow to the show all the way through. So that one stays.
Got to quote it. Movie parties are really fun there, but overall, I'm kind of upset I didn't show up on the show, but it was still to celebrate the 10th anniversary of one of my favorite movies. It was a blast.
Right now, I actually was AFK here for a brief second because I was creating...
You caught me trying to type something. Hang on.
Yeah. I was creating an audio footprint. So what I will do when I'm recording, because of the mixer I use and because of my sound setup and because of my atmosphere here, I get a little bit of audio bleed on my track. Even if I had the headphones off, it would still do an audio bleed. It's something digitally within the little converter thing. I need a new mixer. This one is just not good for what I'm trying to do. So I get a tiny little bit of audio bleed, and you've got the sound of the computer fan, you've got the sound of the refrigerator, you've got all sorts of other atmospheric sounds that have to be filtered out. So what I will do is I will hold my breath and just let the microphone be hot while Justin's talking for about a 10-second period of time, and that's my editing footprint. I copy that and I use that to edit it out when I'm done. I use that to filter out that background noise when I run noise reduction. It works perfectly like a charm every single time because it doesn't have any noise from me in it, so it's not going to edit out my voice or alter my voice, change my voice, anything like that. Just going to pull out that background noise and just going to knock down that little bit of audio bleed that I get through the track. I should pull up my original track here, actually, and kind of show you that. Where we got here. Nick Audio Part 1. There we go. So check this out. This is my track loading in here. And we got to remember we're like somewhere in this area here. I think 36 and change is what this was. 3620, I think. Yeah, so give a listen here. Actually, let me boost the audio on this so you can hear it. This wasn't going to be about noise reduction, but whatever. It's all about editing. All of it's post-production. All of it's post-production and editing. Which, again, I will say it as many times as I need to say it. Editing is what will make the show great. Editing is where a great show is born. If you don't edit, some people can do it. Some people can go to the hot mic and just spill out a great half an hour, hour and a half of content, and it's absolutely amazing. Miserable Retail Slave does it. I absolutely love that show. Amazing. No editing. Randy just gets up to that mic, and it's hot, and they go. But there's other people, you can't do it. And you need to invest the time into editing it because it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And for me, even if I didn't content edit, and over the past 3+ years, my opinions on content editing have varied pretty substantially. Sometimes, if I don't have time, content editing is like the first thing that goes out the window. Like, I will do the best I can, but, you know, it is what it is. But the problem is, when you're stuck with stuff like this, you've still got to deal with background noise. You've still got to deal with noise reduction. You've still got to deal with some post-production processes, even if you don't go through a super thorough edit. Bill, I don't know what that is. What is that? I'll have to check that out later, I guess. But yeah, it's just better. It's just better to go through and do this. Like, people will be like, well, big podcasters don't have to edit. Yeah, because big podcasters have fucking studios and producers and, like, a crew. An indie guy, somebody like me who's just legitimately, I'm in my living room right now. Hello. Is your editing philosophy from last week? Oh, thank you, Bill. I'm in my living room. Like, I live in a noisy apartment building. There's always all sorts of stuff going on. My dishwasher's running right now. Granted, I make sure that the dishwasher's not running, or, you know, the washer's not running or dryer's not running, anything like that when I'm recording the show. But even still, the refrigerator has this annoying whining sound, and there's literally just a giant gulf of air between me and the kitchen. I can't cut that out of the show. The computer fan on my desktop, you're going to get some of that in there. So you have to at least be able to do those post-production processes to clean it up just a little bit. And I'm sorry, but you know what? You're presenting a crisp presentation. You're meaning to the AC is never running when I record. That is very true, Bill. I actually will turn the air conditioning off, and I will turn it on during breaks. So every 30 to 45 minutes or so, we'll take a break. Justin will go to the bathroom. We'll watch a trailer if we need to, or we'll get another beer, whatever the case may be. And yes, I will run the AC during breaks because I don't want to run it while we're recording the show, because then you have to filter that out. Like Justin, I have to filter Justin's AC out of the show because he has to keep his on because his wife will stab him if he doesn't. But so let me show you this. This is my footprint. This is what I mean when I talk about a footprint. So 3623 was where I started this. So we're going to start like from 3620 right here. And you can just hear the audio bleed if you listen carefully. I don't know how good this will come over on the stream, but and I actually turned down my microphone for the second time I played that through there to see if you guys would be able to hear that a little bit better without any other background noise filtering in from my microphone. But yeah, that's basically what you're dealing with. It's not much bleed. I mean, I boosted that track a lot, and that's still as slight as that bleed as it's not a lot. But the worst thing, I think, when you're listening to a show, like, I don't want to hear audio bleed. I don't want to hear Justin and then basically hear like an echo of him from the audio bleed a tenth of a second later. I don't want to do it. And like I said, you're doing a presentation here. You're presenting yourself in an audio format. Like, I want a show that is funny, is punchy, and is just clean flowing, that isn't interrupted by slamming into a brick wall like or just with little technical blips in there that are very, very easily removed if you just pop the podcast open in an audio editor for a hot minute. You know, Justin will fumble with his microphone and stuff like that all the time, which makes me want to kill him. But then when I go in and post, I'll clip that stuff out. So then you can't hear it. You know, and I think that it's so important to do, and I think it's what separates good shows, decent shows, from the greatest shows. You know, and at least in some cases, like I said, there are definitely people that can just jump up to a hot mic and can do a great show, an amazing show, and there are people that cannot. I can sort of do it, but not without stammering a lot, and, you know, I have to stop sometimes because I'll mess up. You'll hear some of them, I'm sure, in the first segment here where I have to stop, and I have to reiterate, basically, what I was trying to say, and then in editing, I have to cut out that first flub and just keep the conversation flowing normally. So let's get back in here. And yeah, we had a blast.
talking all things Batman, talking about the
favorite movies. It was a blast.
I'm actually going to leave a little bit of a gap there. It's about...
You caught me trying to type something. Hang on.
No, hang on.
Take your
It's
time.
about a half a second. There we go.
There we go. And yeah, it was... We had a blast talking all things Batman, talking about the legacy of... We had a blast talking all
So I'm
things
gonna cut
Batman,
this
talking about the
here.
legacy...
Just a little 15-second blip. So now let's take a listen.
The 10th anniversary of one of my favorite movies. It was a blast.
We had a blast talking all things Batman, talking about the legacy of The Dark Knight last week on the show. I got to see this week, Justin, I got to see a movie that came out the same week as The Dark Knight in 2008. That is the original Mamma Mia. And I also got to see the sequel to Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Now, I'll talk about this very briefly because I want to get this in here, get it over with and done with. All right.
Ooh, okay.
The first movie is okay. Now, when it comes to musicals, a big criticism that I often have of musicals is they're just an excuse to string musical set pieces together. This was very much that. There was very little plot to speak of. The only plot that there was Amanda Seyfried's character, who is Meryl Streep's daughter, doesn't know who her dad is. It's either Bill or Sam or Harry. You know, it's Pierce Brosnan, Stellan Skarsgård, and Colin Firth. She doesn't know which one of them it is. And
Sorry about that.
either Bill or Sam or Harry. You know, it's Pierce Brosnan, Stellan Skarsgård, and Colin Firth. She doesn't know which one of them it is. And, you know, you learn that, it could have been any one of them because she was with them all in a short amount of time, blah, 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 blah. But there's such a kind of positive atmosphere around the movie. It's such a fun atmosphere the whole time that you kind of get swept up in it, even though it's not really the best movie musical. It's fun enough that you kind of forgive it. If there was, and I was thought about this before the show, if there was a 10 Commandments, Justin, if there was, and I was thought about this before the show, if there was a 10 Commandments, Justin, of movie sequels, number one,
Bill with them 10 biddies. What? Thank you, Bill.
On that list would be, if there was, and I was thought about this before the show, if there was a 10 Commandments, Justin,
And
of
another
movie
10
sequels,
biddies.
number one on that list, it's fun enough that you kind of forgive it. If there was, and I was thought about this before the show, if
And
there
another 10
was,
biddies. I don't know how many times you're cheering here, Bill, because my freaking alerts, I can't have my alerts set up over my freaking editing thing. So I have no idea how many times you're actually cheering. Oh, there's another 10. Thank you, Bill. I really, really appreciate it. I don't think that it's lagged. It's not that it's lagged. There's another 10. It's not that it's lagged. It's that I can't respond to it if I miss it on the alert window because I have the alert window like side. I don't have two monitors. Like I have the laptop and I have the desktop. So I have to have them open doing different things. So I can't like have just a separate monitor that I just have the Streamlabs alert window open on. I mean, I could have it open on the laptop, but I've got a bunch of other stuff open on the laptop, so I can do this. So it's just like, I need a second monitor and a much bigger desk and a lot more equipment than I have. If there was, and I was thought about this before the show, if there was a 10 Commandments, Justin, of movie sequels. All right. So there we go. So I wanted to cut that little bit out of there. Fun enough that you kind of forgive it. If there was a 10 Commandments, Justin, of movie sequels, number one on that list would be, if the previous movie in the series stars Meryl Streep, you don't kill her off screen before the fucking sequel. Just
no way.
She's Meryl Streep.
No way.
She's Meryl goddamn Streep. So how?
No way.
She's Meryl Streep.
No way.
She's Meryl goddamn Streep. Right, so we're gonna. I just want to cut that gap out of there. Get Justin's reaction in there. Make it a little bit more kind of in the moment. Before the fucking sequel.
No way.
She's Meryl Streep.
No way.
She's Meryl goddamn Streep. So how do they open this movie? With Amanda Seyfried's character trying to reopen the hotel on the island. And we find out that Meryl Streep's Donna is dead. She died a year before the events of the second film.
Could they not get her for this movie?
The funny thing is... And we find out that Meryl Streep's Donna is dead. She died a year before the events of the second film.
Could they not get her for this movie?
The funny thing is, Meryl Streep's in the movie at the end, like as this kind of whatever, I don't even know. And then she's in the end credits with like the whole cast singing like the whole thing. Like, so she appears in it, not very much. Maybe they couldn't get her for like more of an engagement or whatever. I don't know what the case was, but you do not kill off Meryl fucking Streep. You don't do it.
That kills your movie. That immediately kills your movie. You can't do that.
The first 2/3 of the movie,
no way.
And this is all, these are musicals based on the songs of ABBA. So number one, you have to at least not be super ambivalent toward ABBA in order to enjoy them. But how many hits does ABBA really have, Justin? Or even songs that are relatively familiar?
Not that many, dude.
So what does that mean that they end up doing in the sequel to the movie where they sing a bunch of ABBA songs? They sing the same fucking songs again. Different characters sing them sometimes in different situations, but they reuse a lot of the same songs from the first movie. And the first 2/3 of the movie is Lily James as a young Donna, so the younger version of Meryl Streep's character from the first movie, first arriving to the island and fucking Bill and Harry and Sam. We already know this happened because of the first movie. We don't need to see it in this one. And meanwhile, the characters that we know and care about, like Amanda Seyfried and the two friends, I actually have to look up their names because they were characters that we know and care about, like Amanda Seyfried and the two friends. I actually have to look up their names because they were really funny. Hang on. Okay, so I had to IMDb here. This is, again, where editing's a godsend because, thank you, Bill. Editing's a godsend because, oh shit, I forgot what it was. I need to look it up. Vis with another chicken dinner. Goddamn, he's on fire today. Let me see. Hang on. Wait. So meanwhile, Justin, almost the entire first 2/3 of the movie, is dedicated to retelling a story that we already know from the first movie. So meanwhile, Justin, almost the entire first 2/3 of the movie, you can hear there where I stammer a little bit. So I stopped and then I restarted the same thought. Good thing is I've got Justin and the sauce to a lesser degree, but I've got Justin especially definitely on board with doing that at times. Took a while to get him there. Fucking Bill and Harry and Sam. We already know this happened because of the first movie. We don't need to see it in this one. And meanwhile, the characters that we know and care about, like Amanda Seyfried and the two friends, the same fucking songs again. Different characters sing them sometimes in different situations, but they reuse a lot of the same songs from the first movie. And the first 2/3 of the movie is Lily James as a young Donna, so the younger version of Meryl Streep's character from the first movie, first arriving to the island
The first 2/3 of the movie is dedicated to retelling a story that we already know from the first movie, and you get characters that you actually care about and want to see, like Christine Baranski and Julie Walters' characters. And the first 2/3 of the movie is Lily James The first 2/3 of the movie is dedicated to retelling a story that we already know from the first movie, and you get characters that you actually care about and want to see, like Christine Baranski and Julie Walters' characters. They're really funny. They kind of steal the show. Again, they stole it in the first movie a lot too. And you get, again, Amanda Seyfried's character, and you get the three dads periodically kind of sprinkled in here and there. But most of it's focused on this younger cast, this younger version of them. But I came to this movie to see Stellan Skarsgård and Pierce Brosnan, and although I don't want to hear him sing again, I came to this movie to see Meryl fucking Streep, not a picture of Meryl Streep on the fucking wall, and not Lily James, who I love. She's adorable. She's wonderful. She's a wonderful actress. But I want to see Meryl fucking Streep.
All right, so we're just going to cut that whole thing out of there because now...
They reuse a lot of the same songs from the first movie. Almost the first 2/3 of the movie is dedicated to retelling a story
that feels a little bit...
And the first 2/3 of the movie is Lily James as a young Donna, so the younger version of Meryl Streep's character from the first movie, first arriving to the island and fucking Bill and Harry and Sam. We already know this happened because of the first movie. We don't need to see it in this one. And meanwhile, the characters that we know and care about like Amanda Seyfried and the two friends, I actually have to... Almost the first 2/3 of the movie is dedicated to retelling a story that we already know from the first movie.
There we go.
Sam. We already know this happened because of the first movie. We don't need to see it in this one. Almost the first 2/3 of the movie is dedicated to retelling a story that we already know from the first movie. And you get characters that you actually care about and want to see, like Christine Baranski and Julie Walters' characters. They're really funny. They kind of steal the show. Again, they stole it in the first movie a lot too. And you get, again, Amanda Seyfried's character, and you get the three dads periodically kind of sprinkled in here and there. But most of it's focused on this younger cast, this younger version of them. But I came to this movie to see Stellan Skarsgård and Pierce Brosnan, and although I don't want to hear him sing again, I came to this movie to see Meryl fucking Streep, not a picture of Meryl Streep on the fucking wall, and not Lily James, who I love. She's adorable. She's wonderful. She's a wonderful actress. But I want to see Meryl fucking Streep. Meryl fucking Streep. So... The third act of the movie, they kind of finally start to get that energy of the first movie back, like that kind of fun, feel-good vibe where you're just kind of wonderful actress. But I want to see Meryl fucking Streep. So the third act of the movie, they kind of finally start to get that energy of the first movie back, like that kind of fun, feel-good vibe where you're just kind of like, you want to sing along with the songs and you want to just kind of sway back and forth in your seat, and it kind of gets back there. Cher shows up, which, you know, it's Cher, so you can't not love Cher. But fuck you, 4 out of 10. 4.
Oh my God.
4. And
you must not have had any of that fun there. You must not have been swaying in your seat at all then.
All 4 of those points were the last third of the movie, because the last third of the movie, they kind of catch up. Like, they finish telling the backstory that they already told us in the first movie, and then that doesn't have anywhere else to go, so they have to focus on the normal characters that we're used to from the first movie now. It's just... like I said, it wouldn't have been as bad. They're singing the same fucking songs again, and I want to see Stellan Skarsgård I'm used to from the first movie now. It's just normal characters that we're used to from the first movie now. It's just like I said, it wouldn't have been as bad. They're singing the same fucking songs again, and I want to see Stellan Skarsgård. I don't want to see Josh Dillon as a younger.
So I'm gonna trim some stuff out of here.
Their Cher shows up, which, you know, it's Cher, so you can't not love Cher. Fuck you, 4 out of 10. 4.
Oh my God.
4. And
you must not have had any of that fun there. You must not have been swaying in your seat at all then.
All 4 of those points were the last third of the movie, because the last third of the movie, they kind of catch up. Like, they finish telling the backstory that they already told us in the first movie, and then that doesn't have anywhere else to go, so they have to focus on the normal characters that we're used to from the first movie now. I want to see Stellan Skarsgård. I don't want to see Josh Dillon as a younger version of Stellan Skarsgård movie now. I want to see Stellan Skarsgård. I don't want to see Josh Dillon as a younger version of Stellan Skarsgård. We already know that her
so
character
no Mamma
fucked
Mia
him.
3 for you then?
No,
Nick, is
no
that what
Mamma
I'm
Mia
getting?
3 for anybody, I hope.
Okay,
Please, for the love of God. They
okay.
already killed Meryl
Well,
Streep off. They'll probably
yeah.
kill fucking all the rest of them off, too. Like, I don't... I think my theory, Justin, my theory is because Meryl Streep is she's an older lady. She's up there in years. But Cher, who is like 1,000 years old, looks like she's like 40. My theory, Justin, my theory is because Meryl Streep is she's an older lady. She's up there in years. But Cher, who is like 1,000 years old, looks like she's like 40. I think they didn't have Meryl Streep in the movie, maybe because they had Cher, and Cher plays Meryl Streep's mother. Maybe.
What? Really? Oh my god, because I mean, we know that Cher's...
So this just kind of, for me, and I'll cut back in here with this, but this kind of goes on way too long, like forever too long. And it's basically just me talking about the fact that Meryl Streep is only 3 years younger than Cher in real life, but Meryl Streep, because Meryl Streep has never had any work done, looks her age. Cher is 72 years old, but she looks like she's like 40. Like, she looks way, way younger than she actually is. So I think, honest to God, because they wanted Cher to be in this movie, they wanted her in the first one as well. I honestly think that they cut Cher, or that they cut Meryl Streep out of the movie, even though it doesn't really make sense that they would cut Meryl fucking Streep out of a movie. I don't know. Either way, like, it wouldn't make sense, I don't think, like, to see them on screen together and be like, oh, mother and daughter, because it when you would look at them side by side, you'd be like, you know, it'd give you kind of one of those moments to pause and do a double take or whatever. And I don't know. That's probably not what happened. It probably didn't affect the movie in that way or anything like that. But this is a whole long sequence of me going on IMDb and looking up their ages and trying to figure out all this different stuff. It's completely against the point. I wanted to spend a brief amount of time talking about this movie, and this just doubles the length of the review, so all this is going to get cut.
I want to see Stellan Skarsgård. I don't want to see Josh Dillon as a younger version of Stellan Skarsgård. We already know that her character... No Mamma Mia 3 for you then. No Mamma Mia 3 for anybody, I hope. Please, for the love of God. They already killed Meryl Streep off. They'll probably kill fucking all the rest of them off, too. Like, I think, my theory, Justin, my theory is, because Meryl Streep is, she's an older lady. She's up there in years. But Cher, who is like 1,000 years old, looks like she's like 40. I think they didn't have Meryl Streep in the movie, maybe because they had Cher, and Cher plays Meryl Streep's mother. Maybe? What? Really? Oh my god, I mean, we know that Cher's entire face is plastic. 1,000. She's 1,000. But that's weird. How old is Cher? Now I actually have to look this up. She's in her late 60s, I think. She was born in 1946. She is 72 years old. Oh my god. Oh, well, that's close. Late 60s, yeah. So she's 72, but she looks like she's 40. And Meryl Streep is... Hang on, I look that up. Power of editing, save me now. So Meryl Streep's 69. But Meryl Streep looks older than Cher. And Meryl Streep had no work done, that's why. She's had no work done. Exactly. So I think maybe that's why they didn't decide to... I don't know. It just... No, don't go see it. Even if you're one of those people that like the first one, which the first one's probably like a 6. It's not great, but it's...
No, don't go see it. Even if you were one of those people that liked the first one, which the first one's probably...
So that's a good 90 seconds worth of just prattle that doesn't need to be in here.
First movie, and then that doesn't have anywhere else to go, so they have to focus on the normal characters that we're used to from the first movie now. No, don't go see it. Even if you were one of those people that liked the first one, which the first one's probably like a 6. It's not great, but it's fun enough where you can at least enjoy it for what it is. This one, like the first 2/3 of the movie, it's like, I've already heard these songs. Where's Meryl Streep? Oh, right, you killed her. What the fuck? So that's it. The end.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Did you want me to talk about my movie first, or are you going to talk about your second movie?
I think what I would rather do, Justin, is I'd rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening. So,
what do I got guzzling down my gullet?
That's it. The end.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Did you want me to talk about my movie first, or are you going to talk about your second movie?
I think what I would rather do, Justin, is I'd rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening. So,
what do that? Did you want me to talk about my movie first, or are you going to talk about your second movie?
What I need to do here is the "What Are You Drinking" segment. I pull it and sync it with the audio, or the video, excuse me, and we do those separately as beer reviews. So I'm going to pull the audio unedited, clean, because I have to sync it with the video, so I can't cut pieces out of the audio because then it won't fit. I got to cut that out, and then we can edit it for the actual audio broadcast of the show. And I don't know where this ends or how long it takes.
Use for future segments. You want to hear some of them? Here we go.
I would love to. I would love to. He's obviously listened to the show.
Damn.
And more, so I don't know. To it, it's got tropical notes of mango and pineapple.
They
I know
have
you
the
don't
same
remember.
beer?
They do mango as much as I'd like to in this. Pineapple's kind of there, but it's a little bit.
I honestly think this might.
That really
that
should be his.
Loy Sauce's line.
That's
Oh
like,
my god.
That's like, you know.
Wait, so what do you have to say about that? Yeah. I really wish I was on the soundbite a lot faster so that way I could have pressed play a lot quicker. That's a lot of cum. There he is. The funniest thing about talking about The Dark Knight is knowing the story from Loy Sauce that he and a bunch of friends went to go see The Dark Knight opening weekend, and it was sold out, so instead him and his friends went to go see Mamma Mia in theaters rather than The Dark Knight because they couldn't get in, and he never got to see The Dark Knight in theaters until many years later. So, yeah, funny stories. But yeah, I mean, you know what? I gotta get into this movie here, but before I do, let me roll out our YouTube section here real quick. Alright, so, again, smash that subscribe button down below and hit that little bell so you can be notified whenever we go live. Every single week when we record the podcast, I'm going to release these beer reviews separately. Of course, you get a little bit of a bourbon review in there. This Mackenzie is really, really nice. I'll save this, and I'll maybe if you're nice, I'll give you a little bit of it when you get up here. I better watch myself. If you're able to talk me into it, maybe I'll break out the special bottle and let you taste that one. Because that's one that was aged since barrels, 3.5 years. God, it's so good. Sounds wonderful. Please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. We love craft beer. We love talking about beer. We've done it for pretty much 153 episodes now on the Epic Film Guys podcast. Hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Alright, and I'm going to stop recording on that. You keep recording the audio. This is just the video. Of course, yeah. Okay.
Alright, so, shit, almost 10 minutes. But there's some prattle in there that definitely will need to get cut down. So I'm going to save this separately. And this is going to be... What are you drinking? 153. And then, boom, close that. And now we can actually do the edit for the audio-only portion of the show. Which means I need to open something here. And what do we got? What are you drinking? There we go. Perfect. All right, see here. Here we go.
Did you want me to talk about
my movie first, or are you going to talk about your second movie? I think what I would rather do, Justin, is I'd rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening. So, what do I got guzzling down my gullet this evening? Wait. I have to actually start recording the video. I'll do that again. Hang on. Okay. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check that was my video. Check 1 2. All right. Okay. So, let me roll back into that here real quick. I think first, Justin, what I would rather do is I would rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening. This evening, yeah.
Did you want me to talk about my movie first, or are you going to talk about your second movie?
I think what I would rather do, Justin, is I'd rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening. So I think first, Justin, what I would rather do is I would rather know what you've got. What I would rather do is I would rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet. What you've got guzzling down your is I would rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening.
I think I would rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening, so we can cut that whole segment out of there. Boop.
So are you going to talk about your second movie?
I think I would rather know what you've got guzzling down your gullet this evening.
This evening, yeah.
That means it's time, of course, ladies and gentlemen, for What Are You Drinking? Well, my voice broke there like I'm fucking on puberty or some shit.
You haven't gone through puberty.
My lord. As my voice breaks and cracks and snaps all over the place. Welcome, YouTube audience. We love you. Thank you very much. If you like our beer review.
All right, so now what I'm doing here, when I do sound drops in the show, especially for segment breaks, like what are you drinking, things like that, I like to do those clean. And so what I do here is, even though I played it live on the soundboard during the show, I will cut out that version of it, bloop, and then I will insert the cleaner, more crisp version of the same sound drop. And what I like to do, I like to have audio overlap. I think I talked about that in the last video as well, just slightly, especially when you do segment cuts and things. Nothing takes me out of a show more than hearing abrupt breaks between literally everything in a show. If you have intro music for a segment, if you don't start talking until this intro music finishes, it makes me realize that as an editor, what you did was you just went into whatever your editing program is and just pasted stuff in, and it's all straight lined. Like, there's no effort to mix it. There's no blending or anything like that. So you kind of have the music running down in the background as the segment finishes or whatever. Some people do this all the time, and it infuriates me. It infuriates me. Especially, like, I'll do, like, when we did promos, and granted, we haven't made a promo in over 2 years, but when we do promos, you know, I'll leave music at the end of it Because what I like to do, if I'm taking somebody else's promos, I'm overlapping as their music is fading out, that final 3, 4, 5 seconds. My voice is coming back in, and that's just going to fade off into the background as the next segment begins. Some people will just wholesale just paste it in there, and then they stop talking at the end of it after the music's already faded out. It's just lazy. It's just lazy. Mix, blend, use the tools that are available to you. So I like to mix here right at the end of this clip. I usually always do this at 6:25. I'm not even going to listen to it because I know it'll sound the way I want it to sound, because I've been editing sound into this sound clip for years. And there we go. And let's go ahead and go back to our original track now. Just here.
My Lord.
There we go. So we're going to just do...
I'm back! Puke and rally! I'm back! Puke and rally! I'm back! Puke and rally!
I don't want it to have too much overlap, because I want to still be able to hear me saying "my Lord."
I'm back! Puke!
So that kind of is fading this in, mixing it in at the end of Lord.
I'm back! Puke and...
Okay, so now let's give this a listen.
There like I'm fucking on puberty or some shit.
You haven't gone through puberty.
My Lord.
I'm back! Puke and rally! Give me better!
As my voice breaks and cracks and snaps all over the place. Welcome, YouTube audience. We love place. Welcome, YouTube audience. We love you. Thank you very much. Welcome, YouTube audience. We love you. Thank you very much. Welcome, YouTube audience. We love you.
I'm going to cut.
Thank you very much. Welcome, YouTube audience. We love you. Thank you very much. If you like our beer reviews, please hit that little bell icon down there. Hit subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so you can be notified every single time we upload a new video. I'm trying to upload every single week for these beer reviews from the show. So I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got to know what... I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got to know what you've got guzzling down your gullet. Is actually no.
So we're going to cut this out of here, and then we're going to go... Let's listen to it.
And snaps all over the place. So I'm going to pitch it over to you first,
See,
my friend.
That doesn't finish quite as clean as I would like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it again, and I'm actually going to try to kind of do a little slight blend and kind of try to... It finishes its place and then so it kind of finishes with the same sound that it begins with the next word. So I'm going to see if I can't just do a slight blending, just a very slight blending there. So let's see, this bottoms out at 22:48. Okay, so let me see what I can do here.
So I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got to know what you've got. So I'm going to pitch it over.
And now let's give it a listen.
And cracks and snaps all over the place. So I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend.
I hope I can get this clean enough, because I really want to just do this way.
So I'm going to pitch it over all over the place. So I'm going to pitch it over to you.
There's like
first,
a little in there that just doesn't sound natural.
As my voice breaks and cracks and snaps all over the place. As my voice breaks and cracks and snaps all over the place. Breaks and cracks and snaps all over the place.
So what I'm going to do, because I can't get that to sound the way that I want it to, and rather than having that very audible edit in there, again, an editor's job, I believe, you shouldn't notice edits. You should not notice edits. So we're going to paste the rest of the track as a new track.
So I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got to know what you've got guzzling. I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got to know what you've got guzzling down your gullet. Is actually, no, wait. I've got even better. Hang on.
I forgot about this.
What did I just do? Are you stroking your beer glass?
I am.
It's creepy.
It's beautiful. I want to make it feel special before I indulge in it.
All right, so let's see. Okay, here we go. So this is So a listener of the show, Justin, DL Ketis, over on Twitter, sent us a whole bunch of suggestions because he listened to one of the shows where you were trying to come up with something to fit in there for What Are You Drinking? And cracks and snaps all over the place.
Okay, so there we go. So we're going to delete that little snippet there at the end. And we're just going to pop this in here at the end. So now let's give this a listen.
Give me back!
As my voice breaks, I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got a...
So there we go. So now that's much, much cleaner, much more unnoticeable.
Give me back!
As my voice breaks, I'm going to pitch it over to you first, my friend. I've got to know what you've got guzzling down your gullet. Actually, no, wait. I've got even better. Hang on. What did I just do? Even better. I've got even better. Hang on.
So we're going to cut this stuff out of here because I was actually pulling the thread up on Twitter.
Are you So a listener of the show, Justin, DL Ketis, over on Twitter, sent it.
So we're going to just delete that wholesale out of there. So now...
Actually, no, wait. I've got even better. A listener of the show, Justin, DL Ketis, over on Twitter, sent us a whole bunch of suggestions because he listened to one of the shows where you were trying to come up with something to fit in there for What Are You Drinking? And I know we've already done What Are You Funneling Down Your Fuckhole?
Yeah,
we've already talked about that.
One of our favorites.
And then What Are You Guzzling Down Your Gullet this evening, obviously, is where that whole thing was based. So he sent us a whole bunch of suggestions that we can use for future segments. You want to hear some of them? Here we go.
I would love to. Love to.
What have you got dribbling down your dick pocket this evening?
Okay.
What have you got plunging past your perineum polisher this evening? That one's a little wordy. What have you got plunging past your perineum polisher this evening?
Okay.
What have you got plunging past your perineum polisher this evening? That one's a little wordy.
That's a tongue twister.
A lot of alliteration in there. Alliteration. What have you got tumbling down your tit tickler this evening?
I like that one very much.
His personal favorite. What have you got cascading down your cock holster this evening?
Wow.
And what have you got creeping down your cum catcher this evening? It all goes back to dicks. Right?
Yeah,
They're
it
all
does.
about dicks. It's like he knows us so well.
He does. He's obviously listened to the show on more than one occasion. So
thank you, DL.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my god.
Now see, once again,
this is just oh my god.
The frustrating thing about this is that this happens with, and this is one of the limitations of editing in Gold Wave. This is why I really need to start editing in a different program, like Adobe, every week, because I could get around this kind of thing, because I could just drop out Justin's and still keep my laugh.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my god.
So what we do instead here to kind of fudge our way around this, and I'm going to have to organize some files here. Hang on. Bring Gold Wave up. Boop. There it is. Wow, I got a lot of shit open. Okay. I believe everything else is pasted back in there, so I don't need this. I don't need this. So, all right. So I pulled open my original audio track from the levelated portion of the show, I should say. So what are we? Nope, it's further on in here. Let me see here.
Legacy of the Dark Knight last week on the show. In there for What Are You Drinking? And I know we've already done What Are You Funneling Down Your Fuckhole? We've already talked about that. So thank you, DL.
So let me see back in the actual normal track here, where this, no, wrong one. That's the one I want to use.
I've definitely had better beers from Equilibrium. This is a beer that you can...
Thank you, DL.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my god.
There's four
This is
in
just
there,
beautiful.
so I just need
It looks
the
beautiful.
last four.
But I drink a lot of beautiful beers on this show. This is Equilibrium.
Yes, I will go to these.
It looks
lengths to
beautiful.
remove an sometimes, because it doesn't need to be there. It just it's like to me anyway. It's like a speed bump. Like I said, you're just like flying over it as fast as you possibly can. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace this. Now that's a little bit louder, so we're going to bop it down as well. And now that should sound perfect.
Thank you, DL.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my god.
Perfect.
This is just beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
But I drink a lot of beautiful beers on this. This is just beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
But I drink a lot of beautiful beers on this show. This is Equilibrium Brewery's MC2, and this is, of course...
There's no reason to have this in here at all. I'm just going to cut this wholesale.
But I drink a lot of beautiful beers on this show. This is Equilibrium Brewery's MC2,
that it looks beautiful,
and this is...
but... Boom. That's much better. So now what we're going to do, now we've got this weird dead space in there that I don't like. So we're going to actually take the whole rest of this like so. Again, dead spaces are weird to me. So now in my laugh, now that I cut the out of there, I can bump the whole thing back and mix.
This is just beautiful.
That right
I drink a lot of beautiful.
So we're mixing. My laugh is still carrying on, but we're mixing in Justin's voice, so he can continue right on to the next point. We don't have to full stop, laugh, continue. You can just let the show keep flowing. It's all about flow. It's all about keeping that pace and keeping that energy moving.
This is just beautiful. But I drink a lot of beautiful beers on this show. This is Equilibrium Brewery's MC2, and this is, of course, a New England double IPA.
Is it MC squared?
I'm just saying MC2 because that's how I'm reading it. Yes, of course, it's probably MC squared, Nick. But it may be the sequel beer to one of their other beers, so I don't know.
Sequel beer.
Hey, you know, like a part 2. Like, there are a couple beers I've had that are like 2, the sequel. So.
Part of this, yeah, I know. Southern Tier still does that.
It's hazy. It's got a tangerine color to it. It's got tropical notes of mango and pineapple. About to drink it. Okay. I've definitely had better beers from Equilibrium. This is a beer that you can get actually quite often up there.
Trying the beer on the show. So we're going to cut out the actual trying of the beer. We'll throw that up there. We don't need this open anymore. And I only saved this so I could save the
Okay.
We're just going to go boop. Got 4 of them now.
Mango and pineapple. I've definitely had better beers from Equilibrium. This is a beer that you can get actually quite often up there where you're at, Nick.
Really?
I know they have it a lot. I brought it to your place before one time.
Where they have it? Sam the Beer Man?
They do get it at Sam the Beer Man all the time. I brought it to your place before one time.
Where they have it? Sam the Beer Man?
They do get it at Sam the Beer Man all the time. You can get growlers of it there and growlers there. And they have it at the Colonial, downtown Binghamton. And I believe they have it at that new craft place that you told me about. But all that aside, it's 8% alcohol by volume. It's pretty good. I'm not really... but all that aside, it's 8% alcohol by volume. It's 8% alcohol by volume. It's pretty good. It's 8% alcohol by volume.
Now you'll notice... This is a 15.8 second segment, so 16 seconds, give or take. Listen to this.
One time.
Where they have it? Sam the Beer Man?
They do get it at Sam the Beer Man all the time. You can get growlers of it there and growlers there. And they have it at the Colonial, downtown Binghamton. And I believe they have it at that new craft place that you told me about. But all that aside...
3 ums in 16 seconds. So that, to me, that's... wall. It immediately just kills the flow of it. Also, we don't really need to know where you can find it. So we're gonna just... I don't even know if I can save any of those or not.
One time.
Where they have it? Sam the Beer Man?
They do get it at Sam the Beer Man all the time. You can get growlers of it there and growlers there. And of it there and growlers there. And they have it at the Colonial, downtown Binghamton. And I believe they have it at that new craft place that you told me about. But all that aside...
So there we go. I'm able to save 2 of them. There we go.
I know they have it a lot. I've brought it to your place before. It's 8% alcohol by volume. It's pretty good. I'm not really getting the mango as much as I'd like to in this.
And see, so that was another one that I
Pineapple's kind of there, but it's a little bit weak.
I didn't cut that out of the previous segment, but that was probably only a few seconds after that. So you're probably talking like more like 4 of them in a 20-second span. It's just too much. Like one every so often on occasion isn't bad, but holy God.
It's pretty good. I'm not really getting the mango as much as I'd like to in this. Pineapple's kind of there, but it's a little bit weak. It's pineapple's kind of there, but it's a little bit weak. It's pretty solid. To in this. Pineapple's kind of there, but it's a little bit weak. It's pretty solid.
It takes talent to make pineapple weak in a beer.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not getting. It's pretty solid.
It takes talent to.
It's pretty solid.
It takes talent to make pineapple.
It's pretty solid.
It takes talent to make pineapple weak in a beer.
That first
yeah, no, I don't. I'm not getting the pineapple.
Let's make sure that sounds okay.
But weak. It's pretty solid.
It takes talent to make pineapple.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. So let's isolate our There we go. I need to start. We're gonna yoink. Nope. Yep. Yep. I don't know which one that was. Yeah, that was that one. Okay. Nope. Nope. So what I'm doing is I am just hitting Control E and pasting these at the end of the track because I have way too many freaking little windows open here. And I don't want to have them all open now. So we're going to just E and boop, done. And we're actually going to save this guy on the desktop as So far we've got So there we go. So now we're down to just 2 windows. And here we go.
Pineapple's kind of there, but it's a little bit weak. It's pretty solid.
It takes talent to make pineapple weak in a beer.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not getting the pineapple as much as I'd like to. It just kind of feels like they're mixed together to the point where like they're overly blended. If that makes any sense, like not one of them stands out to me more than the other.
They're canceling each other out a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, but it's still good. So I like it. I would drink it again, but you know how I'm with beer, so it is what it is.
All right. Well,
No, not replace. No, not. I accidentally hit paste at end, and then I also hit replace, so it would have just like wholesale replaced everything with just that one clip. Delete some of that silence. There we go.
But it's still good, so I like it. I would drink it again, but you know how I'm with beer, so it is what it is.
All right. Well, it's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to go to the liquor store. Well, it's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to go to the liquor store today, and holy fuck, I've drank like half of this bottle already. I decided to help myself to a bottle of Mackenzie's bourbon. It's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to go to the liquor store today. It's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to go to the liquor store today. Well, It's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to go to the liquor store.
Sometimes there are little foibles that you have in there that you can't get rid of. Best boom whack, yeah.
All right. It's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to go to the liquor store today. And holy fuck, I've drank like half of this bottle already. I decided to help myself to a bottle of Mackenzie's bourbon. This is the... It's my birthday on Friday, Justin. So I decided to help myself to a bottle of Mackenzie's bourbon. This is the Finger Lakes Distillery that I go to up on Seneca all the time. I can buy their normal bourbon in the liquor store. I can't buy like their really good single barrel series and stuff like that. So I've been drinking this, but I also did pour off some beers in case I finish this in time. So I'm going to tell you about both. All right. So this is just a really nice, really smooth bourbon. I honestly think this might be benefited from like one ice cube. I typically drink my bourbon neat. I typically do not do rocks or anything like that, but it's very, very nice. Got like a little bit of a brown sugar, almost, I would say, teetering into like a caramel or even maybe darker, like toward a molasses kind of taste, just a little bit. But it's very, very good, very serviceable. So I really, really enjoy that. And I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked? And I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked 12 packs?
Now, I'm going to skip this because this is a continuation of a discussion from last week, because apparently I'm the only one that has ever heard of these, and I'm the only one that knows about them. And Bill, since you're actually in here watching the stream, you probably know what they are as well. But these overpacked packs of beer that are 15 packs instead of 12 packs. And apparently this was like this entirely like crazy foreign thing. Have you ever seen one? I don't care if you've never had one. I just want to know if you've ever seen one. Like, but apparently these are like a completely foreign thing. So everybody on the show last week was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I know what I'm talking about. I promise they exist. I mean it. They definitely do. So I'm going to cut this out because it doesn't need to be here.
I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked 12 packs that are 15 beers? No, I haven't. They sell them up here all the time. I don't know. Maybe Virginia's not enlightened like we are up here in New York. I don't know. But they sell people in New York want to get more drunk, I guess. I don't know. True. They're relatively cheap too, so they're like $18.99 for like a 15 pack. So this one is 21st Amendment, and this is a specific beer. This is their blah 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 double IPA. It's right there.
Like a 15 pack. So this one is 21st Amendment. So this one is 21st. So this one is 21st. This one is 21st Amendment, and this is a specific. This one is 21st Amendment.
I like that nice clean break there on the zero line. You can see it right there. Nice clean break in that waveform. So we're going to take that from there.
So I really, really enjoy that. And I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked 12 pack? This one is 21st Amendment. And this is a specific beer. This is their blah, blah. I really, really enjoy that. And I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked 12 packs that are 15? Yeah. It's very, very good, very serviceable. So I really, really enjoy that. And I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked 12 packs that are? And this is a specific beer. This is their blah, blah, blah double IPA. It's right there.
Yes, and I've had that on many occasions.
Yeah. This is actually a really, really nice beer. I love it. They're relatively cheap too, so they're like $18.99 for like a 15 pack. So this one is 21st Amendment, and this is a specific beer. This is their blah blah is 21st Amendment, and this is a specific 21st Amendment, and this is a specific beer. This is their blah 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 double IPA. So I really, really enjoy that. And I've also got now 15 packs of beer. Have you seen these overpacked 12 packs that are?
We're just going to cut that wholesale, and then
I've also got 21st Amendment, and this is a specific beer. This is their blah 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 double IPA. It's right there.
Yes, and I've had that on many occasions.
Yeah. This is actually a really, really nice beer. Blah blah double IPA.
Yes, and I've had that on many occasions.
Yeah. This is actually a really, really nice beer. I love how dank it is right up front. You immediately get an earthy kind of aroma to it, a little bit of it, an earthy kind of aroma to it, a
See,
little bit of pininess.
You're fucking double fisting. You're double fisting.
I am double
over there.
fisting.
You're double
100%.
You're
Doesn't need to be a gap there. Hang on.
You immediately get an earthy kind of aroma to it, a little bit of pine.
See, that sounds a little bit too abrupt to me, so I gotta actually pad that out.
You immediately get an earthy kind of aroma to it, a little bit of pininess.
You're fucking double fisting. You're double fisting.
I am double
over there.
fisting.
You're double
100%.
fisting. You're double fisting.
And it's really nice. This finishes so clean. Like you get that kind of, like I said, dank and it's really nice. This finishes so clean. Like you get that kind of, like I said, dank and a little bit of.
You're double
100%. This finishes so clean. Like you get that kind of, like I said, dank and a little bit of the piney, earthy aroma up front. And then it just kind of finishes really, really clean. It's a little floral and it's just really, really, really nice. I think 21st does some good beers, especially they do. I think 21st does some good beers, especially they do like really, really nice. I think 21st does some good beers, especially they do like a Tripel or a Debel or something like that. That's really, really good. I think it was a collaboration that they did with somebody else, but this is a fantastic beer. And I wish I could buy this by itself, but I've never seen it by itself before. This is the only time I've ever seen this beer. So that's what I've got cascading down my cock holster.
That should be Loy Sauce's line. That really should
be Loy Sauce's line. Oh my God.
That's like, you know.
Loy Sauce, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah.
I really wish I was on the soundbite a lot faster so that way I could have pressed play a lot quicker.
That's a lot of cum.
There he is.
The funniest thing about talking about The Dark Knight is knowing the story.
So when I did this live, I did not have the soundboard up on the laptop because that's what I run the soundboard off of. So I had to quick jump over there and I was like, oh, I didn't have it on the right part of the soundboard either. So I had to scroll, find it, then hit it, finally play it. So you've got a 6.5 second gap in there between when I prompt myself to play the damn thing and when I cut it in there. So that's where editing saves us again. Welcome back, Dan.
Yeah.
Loy Sauce, what do you have to say about that?
That's a lot of cum.
There he is.
The funniest thing about talking about The Dark Knight is knowing the story from Loy Sauce that he and a bunch of friends went to go see The Dark Knight opening weekend and it was sold out. So instead, him and his friends went to go see Mamma Mia in theaters rather than The Dark Knight because they couldn't get in. And in theaters rather than The Dark Knight because they couldn't get in. And he never got to in theaters rather than The Dark Knight because they couldn't get in. And rather than The Dark Knight because they couldn't get in. And he never got to.
I'm going to cut this mention of Justin saying in the theaters. We already know it's in the theater. It was opening weekend, so it's redundant. So there we go.
Friends went to go see Mamma Mia rather than The Dark Knight because they couldn't get in. And he never got to see The Dark Knight in theaters until many years later. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
Funny stories. But yeah, I mean, you know what? I got to get into this movie here, but before I do, I got to boast.
Let me.
We're going to E again. Hashtag redundancy. You could say he fell into a vat of redundancy. Yes?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Funny stories. But yeah, I mean, you know what? I got to get into this movie here, but before I do, I got to boast.
Let me roll on our YouTube section here real quick.
So this will.
All right, so again, smash that subscribe button down below and hit that little bell so you can be notified whenever we go live. Every single week when we record the podcast, I'm going to release these beer reviews separately. Of course, you got a little bit of a bourbon review in there. This Mackenzie is really, really nice. I'll save this, and I'll maybe if you're nice, I'll give you a little bit of it when you get up here.
I better watch myself.
If you're able to talk me into it, maybe I'll break out the special bottle and let you taste that one, because that's the one that was aged in stout barrels, 3.5 years. Oh God, it's so good.
Sounds wonderful.
Please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. We love craft beer. We love talking about beer. We've done it for pretty much 153 episodes now on the Epic Foam Guys podcast. Hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right. And I'm going to stop recording on that. You keep recording the audio. This is just the video.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. All right. Whatever you were going to do, go ahead.
All right. And before I get into my review of Sorry to Bother You, I got to boast a little bit, just because that's what.
Hey, Dan, Justin's going to boast on the show.
But yeah, I mean, you know what? I got to get into this movie. Funny stories. But yeah, I mean, you know what? I got to get into this movie here. But before I do, I got to boast.
So there we go. There's our YouTube rollout for What Are You Drinking? Gone.
God.
Funny stories. But yeah, I mean, before I get into my review of Sorry to Bother You, I got to boast a little bit. Just because that's what Epic Film Guy Justin does. It's just kind of what I'm all about.
What? No. What kind of TV do you have?
It's 4K. Hey, who knows, man? The 8K TVs are coming out soon, so I'm sure Paul from the Countdown.
God.
Funny stories. But yeah, I mean, before I get into my review of Sorry to Bother You, I got to boast a little bit. Just because that's what Epic Film Guy Justin does. It's just that's what Epic Film Guy Justin does. That's what Epic Film Guy Justin Epic Film Guy Justin does. It's just kind of what I'm all about.
What? No.
You're welcome.
That's what Epic Film Guy Justin does. It's just kind of what I'm all about.
What? No.
It's kind of what I'm all about.
What? No. What kind of TV do you have?
It's 4K. Hey,
I can only take so much.
It's just kind of what I'm all about.
What? No. What kind of TV do you have? No. What kind of TV do you have?
It's
no, there's an in there buried beneath me saying no. Womp womp. Staying in.
No. What kind of TV do you have?
It's 4K. Hey, who knows, man? The 8K TVs are coming out soon, so I'm sure Paul from the Countdown will beat me on that. But I actually had an amazing opportunity yesterday to meet Mr. Footloose himself, the Baconator.
All right, so let's take a listen to that now. There's still too much of a gap in here.
Beat me on that. But I actually had an amazing opportunity yesterday to meet Mr. Footloose himself. Actually had an amazing opportunity yesterday to meet Mr. Footloose himself, the Baconator, Kevin Bacon, and it was a wonderful experience. I got to see his band. But I actually had an amazing opportunity. Beat me on that. But I actually had an amazing opportunity yesterday to meet Mr. Footloose himself, the
blip in that gap there. It doesn't need to be there.
I'm sure Paul from the Countdown will beat me on that. But I actually had an amazing opportunity yesterday to meet Mr. Footloose himself, the Baconator, Kevin Bacon, and it was a wonderful experience. I got to see his band play.
So there we go. So we're 15 minutes into the track now. And this was about 38 minutes at the start. And we're already down to 29. I mean, 28:51, but who's really keeping track? We also have 7 seconds worth of ums, which doesn't seem like a lot, but you said it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it really, really is. So that's where I'm going to call this for now. So I just wanted to kind of get in there and get some of that first segment edited, kind of show you how I approach a more normal episode of the Epic Film Guys podcast as compared to last week's show, which, again, was craziness. There was just so much audio that I had to work with and just a lot of different extenuating circumstances that had to be dealt with as well. This week, much cleaner, much more simplistic kind of edit that I'm used to. But I still have to do a bunch of different little things. Because, of course, now we do the beer reviews on YouTube. So I've got to cut out a little snippet there. And I've got to prompt that so I can have the YouTube audience have their own thing. And I've got to cut that out of the audio-only version of the show, which happens from time to time. And, you know, it is what it is. It just is. It just kind of is the way it is. And, like I said, we had the kind of that whole long discussion about Meryl Streep and Cher that just doesn't need to be in the episode. Let's get the Mamma Mia review over with, done, and that's just kind of the way it goes. So yeah, we're down to 28:51 from like 38 minutes or so. I can't remember what the exact beginning time was on the timestamp, but all told, I mean, we should end up with a relatively decent length episode. And whoops, I just minimized that out. So it doesn't matter because that's right, I'm not on that scene anymore. Haha. But anyway, I also wanted to do some stuff with double ending and kind of explain what double ending is, and just explain a very, very simple way that you can do double ending. It's as simple. All you need is a footprint on your track of everybody else that you want to sync into yours. And that's as simple as it is. And I can't emphasize that enough to make these kinds of things happen, because it's bar none. Audio quality far, far, far beyond anything, and I mean anything that you're going to get with any kind of a call recorder, your Zenecasters, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. So just double end. It makes for much better audio quality, and spend the time to actually do at least a little bit of an edit once you do your post-production processes and things like that. Do something, that's going to actually improve the flow of the show and just kind of improve things. So this is a little window into what I do. I'm going to do some more of these videos as we go forward with future episodes, and just kind of give you a little sneak peek into what goes into editing the show, and into what, the post-production process of the show is all about. I think next time I will get into the actual noise reduction and things like that I run, and kind of make that a little bit, do a little bit of a learn how to talk first, and then I'll do a little bit of a tutorial on kind of what I do to remove that stuff from my track, even though I did show you a little bit of it earlier today. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. Thank you all very, very much. Please, please, please hit that follow button. I'm 8 away from 100 over on Twitch. And if you're so inclined, you get a free Twitch Prime subscription with Amazon Prime. If you like the content, if you want to see more behind-the-scenes stuff from podcasting, or if you just want to see my gameplay videos, whatever, smash that sub button. Smash. God, I really, really need some more coffee. Smash that subscribe button. And, throw me that free Twitch Prime. Throw it my way. I would really, really appreciate it. But in the meantime, look for this episode to land on Thursday, normal time. And thank you guys all very, very much for watching. And I will see you at the movies.